Hi everybody, this is Tina from Rehatch Designs, and today we're going to do a little craft with me, and I'm going to do something called snippets. Basically it's using your little scraps that you have to make an embellishment that goes on the edge of the page, or you can use it as just a little element that you put on ephemera. You can use them in a lot of different ways, but it's mainly all those little tiny cuts that you get when you're cutting lace or fabric or whatever, the little tiny pieces that you have, and it's a way to try and use those. So anyway, let's just get right to it. So I made one and put it on a page just to kind of show you what we're doing. I mean, you can make them any color you want. You can make them neutral. A lot of people just take their different pieces of lace and they'll make a a bunch of neutral ones just to have on hand, or maybe some in the colors that they're normally use or something. I'm frantically working on my Valentine's journal to get it done by Valentine's Day. This is supposed to be a gift for my husband. I have all my old, he probably doesn't even realize I have kept all the old cards, but anyway, I'm gonna put them in the journal and show him that I have these, and I think hopefully he'll be impressed. Who knows? But anyway, I've done one just to kind of show you what you do with them, or what I'm gonna do with them, and this is kind of how mine are. I do not have any idea who came up with this idea first. I have no clue. I have seen it done on Roxy Creations. I've seen it done on Gail at Gustinelli, but I don't know who they got it from, and I have no idea where this originated. So if y'all know, just leave it in the comments, because I really have no idea. This is my version of it. It's a little different than what I've seen them do, but this is how I found I like to use it, and how I like to do them. So, like I said a lot, I don't think that there's any junk journal police. I don't think anybody's going to say I'm doing it the wrong way or the right way, etc. And I'm not saying other people are doing it the wrong way. I'm just saying this is my way, and this is what works for me. Anyway, this is one of the pages, and I'm trying to work within this color palette, which is actually, there's a lot of different colors in here, so that works really well. And I want to do a total of 6 of these pages with snippets on it in the journal. So this will be one, and let me just go through the process of how I do it. I start usually with a piece. I used to do them, honestly, you can do them with ribbon and put your little pieces on the ribbon and then sew it, and I have done them that way. You could take a long piece of lace or something and do it that way and add it to it. You want something with a little bit of weight to it. Let's see. Like for instance, let me see. Like maybe you would take, this one's too big. Let me find one that's not so big. You would think I'd have something right handy. Like maybe you would take something like this, and then you could add, different things to it, and then use that as your base. I don't usually do that. And I used to use ribbon a lot, and then I would make it on that and then sew it. But I have kind of changed my thinking on that. Now what I do is I just take a piece of cardstock, and let me see, like my page is about this big, so I usually do it a little bit bigger than my page. I just take cardstock, leftover pieces, and I cut it about a 1/2 inch, usually no more than that. And I will cut a strip, and I like it to be not super heavy, but you know, decent weight cardstock. And I use that as my base for my snippet. And I usually make them a little bit bigger than that, but this will work for us because I know what size my page is going to be. If I know what I'm using it for, then I'll make them that size. But if I don't, then I usually make them a little longer. And usually when I make them longer, the end pieces, the extra pieces, I always end up using anyway. Like this piece that I made, I had an extra piece, so I put it as an embellishment on this pocket that I made. So that was part of a snippet that I had, you know, that I had made, that this is just left over. So you can use it as little embellishments on your page, and you know, it works a lot like a cluster does, except the pieces you're working with are smaller pieces. And it's mainly to use the little tiny pieces that you've accumulated. So anyway, that's kind of what I do. And I think I'm going to try and make a total of 6 of them. This one, I'm going to probably make it a little bit longer just so I have little leftover pieces. What I take is any little offshoot material, and really the best pieces to use are the little tiny pieces that you've already cut up. Because, you know, I mean, you can cut new things, but ultimately what you're trying to do is use the pieces that, you know, that are just little, like, you know, you cut off on the end, some little piece. Like, see, this strip is good. This is our piece that we use, so we can cut that up a little bit. I mean, you can use other pieces, don't get me wrong, but I think the objective is to use your little tiny pieces, and then, you know, kind of go from there. Let's see. I will cut little tiny pieces of ribbon to go on there sometimes if I want a certain color or something like that. I'll add that and just kind of just give it more texture. Let's see. And to me, the more variation you have in it, the better. So here is my little offshoots that I have, and I try and keep all my lace stuff in one. So, like, you know, I'll put that in there, and I'll pick out pieces that I think I'm going to use. Again, you know, I think, see, here's a piece of material in there. Again, I think I try really hard to vary it up, but I want to, if I can, use my really small pieces in here. But, I mean, if I have to cut little pieces off of here, it's not the end of the world. But I think the objective is to try, let me see if I can shake it out and get the really small pieces out there. You know, I think the objective, is to kind of try and use your little tiny pieces that you have, rather than make more tiny pieces, but, you know. Okay, so I think maybe this may be a little too thin. We'll use that one. So I will go ahead and I'll just start, usually, I'll just start with maybe just take a piece of material or something, and let's put this tiny piece on here. No rhyme. I use a glue stick too, and that's another thing. I sew my snippet. What I do is I glue it all together with a glue stick, and then I take it to the sewing machine, and I'll glue it down onto the page, and then I'll just sew it with a zigzag stitch down the middle. And so that means I'm just sewing it the one time. You can do this all with glue, but if you do it all with glue, I don't think a glue stick would hold. I think I would use something like fabric tack or 3-in-1 or tacky glue or something that's strong enough to where it will, you know. And so I'll take that, and I just try and vary it up a little bit, and try not to, again, not think too much, because if you do, then you'll be here all day, because it does take, you know, it just messes with you if you're trying too hard. Like I like this little piece here. I'm going to take that. It's too big. You know. And I try not to cut, if I do cut them, you know, perfectly straight, because that's really not my objective here. And I do try and vary the different colors, like of lace and things that I'm using, you know, and the textures and whatever. And I try not to do everything square, because I don't know, I don't really like. And you can put like longer pieces on there, like let's say for instance this one. Let me show you what I'll do with that. First, let me put a little piece of material in there or something. Let's see, put that right. Maybe I'll put that underneath. And then put that right there. Like, let's say, for instance, you could put that down. Oh, maybe wait. Well, let me think real quick. What do I have? I want something to show underneath that. So maybe just do this. Like for instance, maybe I put that down. Where did that piece go? Oh great, I lost it. Well, okay, for instance, you can put a piece like that. And, you know, it's okay if what you have underneath shows a little bit, but I think the objective is to try and cover it. But anyway, you can put a longer piece like that down. And then what I like to do when I do that, oh, this is sticking, too much glue on there, is I like to break it up with something else. Like, I don't know what happened. I thought I had a bunch of little pieces already kind of cut up, but I don't know what I did with them. I guess I don't. Oh, well. In any case, you know, you're just trying to vary the colors and vary the piece sizes of the piece and try not to do them too straight, because I think that it doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't, to me, look great when you do that. So, and you don't have to mix material and lace. You can do all material, you can do all lace. This is kind of how, like I said, how I do it, and it also depends on the journal and the you know, the style of the journal. I think this journal has a lot of color in it, so I don't have problems, you know, using a lot of color. Let's see, I think probably I want to put that right there. And when I put the glue stick on, when I do this, I'm just putting enough down to where it'll hold it long enough for me so that, you know, I can get to the point where I can sew it. So, and most of the time when I do these, the material or whatever usually is in the bottom, you know, so you can see through the lace. You know, kind of peeking through, and have little pieces here and there, because that's kind of the look I like. But again, you know, that's something that is a personal taste, so you never know. Let's see what other. I'm trying to vary this up a little. I try not to use the same pieces. I doubt anybody will notice or see, but put that piece right there I think would look good. You know, so I don't know. Again, this is all personal taste. I like, you know, to vary it up a lot. A lot of people will do just lace or just material. And again, you could do this just solely with paper too. You don't have to even use any of this stuff. I mean, that's totally, you know, your call on that. So let's see. Here's like a little piece of sari silk. Open that up a little. Let's see if I can get that in there. A little stick down. No, it needs a little more glue. But anyway, you know, there's no rhyme or reason on how I do this. There just really isn't. I just, you know, start gluing. Okay, so to me, that looks pretty good right there. I had been taking the little pink eyelash trim and just kind of taking little pieces, you know, separated into little pieces, and I just put it here and there. It does, you know, just to add a little pop of color for the Valentines and kind of squish it down, and I figured it'll get sewn in. So like maybe right here. And maybe, you know, I don't know. Well, maybe I just will put this up a little higher. There we go. That's all I'm going to do on that. So to me, that's done. All right. And then I would take my page that I'm going to put it on and just take my glue stick. Again, this is done with glue stick because it's temporary, because I'm going to sew it. And then I'll take that, and of course it's always usually ends up, you know, longer than my page. But this is why I like using the cardstock to do it, because then I can just kind of put it on the edge of the page, and it's paper to paper, and it glues down pretty good. And then I'll probably snip that off right there. And then I'll just go to the sewing machine. You know, I'll let it hang over a little bit, but not a ton. And then, you know, then I will just usually do a zigzag stitch because it does a good job of getting in there. And so then I'll just sew that on. And that's how quick that is. So let's just do another one. I know this is kind of redundant, but that's kind of how you do it. You could just do it right on the page too. I mean, I thought about that rather than go through the process of the strips. I think the strips, whether it be material or ribbon, probably came up because, let's see, that one's probably too short. You know, because people make them ahead of time and then they put them on their journal. So let's see if I have another longer one. Let's do a longer one, and then you can see what happens with that. And then okay, let me give you an idea on just a plain one that's just if you did it just with lace or something, which I think is really pretty. You could just do that, take all your little pieces of lace. You could take, let me see if I can find one that's a little different. You know, a longer piece and put it on there and then add to it. Let me do this one. Like this. But you can see how pretty that would be just with, you know, just with lace on it alone. It'd be really pretty, I think. I don't know, maybe I'll do one like that. I could do one of those in the middle of each one. How about I do that? Good idea. Good idea. I've decided it was a good idea. And I think too, that's another thing. A lot of people on their snippets, what they'll do is they will, you know, they'll just do pieces that are neutral and have them at hand, and then maybe add things to it later, you know, to kind of dress them up a little bit. Like you could do this all neutral and then come back and then add, you know, a few pieces of fabric, buttons, whatever, ribbon, and then add, if you wanted to add color to it, and then have these already done. I don't usually do a lot of things ahead, you know, and have them around, because somehow when I'm making my journal, it just, to me, I don't know. I always do things like what I have in mind for that particular journal, I guess. I may have some things ahead, because sometimes, you know, most of the time I over make things, you know, and I overstuff my journals. So, I I don't know if I'm going to leave it neutral or not. I really don't. I think I'm going to add... Did I change my own mind? Let's see here. I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking, do I have any more pink ribbon that I can put in there that would look good? I have this rickrack. I'm running out of pink stuff. So, just don't have enough pink stuff. Let's see here. I've got a little bit over here. Okay. I know this is a huge mess on my desk, but this is kind of how I have to do it, or I can't, you know, I just can't operate, you know, with just a few things. I've got to have a lot of different choices, and that's kind of how I do it. So let me see. Oh, there's a nice little piece there. So I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I am doing this video at 5 o'clock in the morning because I woke up at, I'm thinking it was right around, oh, I don't know, 2:30. And I tried until, oh, I don't know, maybe close to 4 o'clock to, cut that smaller. Close till 4 o'clock to try and you know, go back to sleep, and I just couldn't do it. I mean, it was just... So anyway, rather than torture myself, I decided to get up, do a video for today. That didn't work out, did it? Let's try something else. This may not work this way. I may have to take it all apart, and you know, if it doesn't do anything for me, but I still have hope it'll turn out. Anyway, so I got up, decided to go get a cup of coffee, Wi-Fi'd it, you know. That's the good thing about being retired. I don't have to worry about being tired all day. Before, when I was in banking, it was hell if I didn't sleep, because, you know, I kind of had to pay attention to what I was doing, and had to be awake enough to get through the day. And now, what's so cool about it is I really am not that concerned when I don't get a lot of sleep. And I quit fighting it because I know that I can go take a nap during the day now that I'm retired, if I get, you know, if I really want to. And I very rarely do that, but I tend to not be able to sleep during the day. I have enough sleep problems as it is. I don't really try to sleep at night, because, I mean, during the day, because there's too many noises and things going on, and I don't know. It's hard for me. But anyway, so I am up. That's okay, because you know what? I am having fun. To me, this is just, I've got my coffee sitting here. I have one of those little candle warmer things. I guess it's not just for candle warmer, but, you know, keep your coffee too. And if I'm up here, you know, during the evening, I'll have a candle on it. And in the morning, that's where I always put my, I don't know if I like that there or there. Ooh, I like that. I'll try that. So I'll have my coffee on there, and then just kind of relax and enjoy the process. And if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it. So I hope that's been in frame. If it's not, sorry guys. I do this all the time, and I'm like, I get done and I look and I go, oh my gosh. I just get carried away and start doing stuff and not paying attention to the fact that I'm videoing, which is, you know, that's kind of what I do. But anyway, so this is kind of what I do for mine. And like I said, I'm sure everyone does it differently. Honestly, I don't think I've seen one person do it the same as another, but they all have their different take. And I would, you know, just go out there and look and see, because that, you know, that's getting kind of gluey. You know, so anyway, this is kind of how I do it. And usually there's just a big old giant mess on my desk of everything, and I do try and use the smaller pieces that are already cut up, but I tend to just grab things too, so. But I do try and vary. Like, see this one, you know, I don't have any material in there, but I'm adding colors in there that I know that are going to be on there. So it's a little bit more neutral than the others. But see, you could not put any of those colors in there and make it very neutral, and then just have a bunch of it, and then it's done. And, you know, so then you've got all your stuff. You've got it made, and you're just adding the color later, which, you know, that's not a bad thing. And I layer stuff. Like here I've got 2 different laces, and then I'll take maybe a different color and put it on top, you know. And mind you, if you are just gluing this, you would have to, like, you know, really glue down each piece with your tacky glue, because, or your, you know, 3-in-1 or fabric tack or something, because you really want to do a good job of getting it all put in there. So I don't know if I'm going to use that. Let me see. Put that right there like that. And then, let's see, do I have another darker piece? I've got this down here. Oh, here's some right here. You know, and I try and vary the different types of textures and laces and things like that. And, you know, it somehow it always ends up working out. I don't know how, but it does. It's like a, you know, it's just like when you do collage. I mean, really. Okay, so now this would be, ugh, it's stuck to my page. This would be another one that we did that was just a little bit more neutral than, you know, this one. It doesn't have the other colors in it, while not completely neutral. And now, as you can see, let me move some of the stuff out of the way, because it's probably getting so busy on my desk that you can't see anything. So then I would just take this and then put this on, or maybe go this way, kind of decide which one I want to use. So I think I'm going to do that. Okay, so we're going to go glue it down. Like I said, I'm going to sew all of these on, and if you're not going to sew, you would see, now this is why I like using the strips. You can kind of line it up with the edge of your paper. Now see, I think I need something up there, and I'll add that. Now look, I'm going to have this piece right here that's left over. So I would just cut that. Now of course I haven't sewn it yet, so that means I'm going to have to sew this separate. But normally I would just sew the whole thing and then cut it off. But I'm just going to use this as an example. So then this can be used as an embellishment on a page. You know, you can just stick this, or maybe on just on an embellishment that you make, or, you know, ephemera that you make. You could just use that to stick on. So then I'd look at this. I think this needs something up here, so I'm going to have to add something. I don't know what. Let me think. I think it needs another piece of lace of some sort, so I don't know what. It'll come to me. Like maybe this piece right here. No, it's too close to what that looks like already. Why don't we take some of these? See, I think we need some of this. That's what we need. Put the beige on there. But anyway, I don't think that there's a way that you can mess this up. I really don't. So, and this is how I do it. And I actually do it different for different journals or what, you know. Let me see. Yee. It's sticking to my fingers so much I can't get it to stay down. Gonna have to come up with a way to do that. Here we go. Stay, stay, stay. I'm just trying to get it to stay down enough to where I can, you know, sew it on there. So, like, I'll put this on like that. Cut some off. Right, there we go. Maybe a little bit right here. And like I said, I just do just a zigzag stitch down, and it kind of catches all these pieces. So if it doesn't, you know, then I'll come back and I'll glue a little bit here and there and then get it all stuck down good. But anyway, that would be another page. Like, see this piece that's hanging out? That's maybe a little bit too much hanging off. You can go back and kind of give it a haircut. But that would be kind of another embellishment that you're putting on your page. So, so that's what? How many have we done? 2. Let's see what our time is here. Okay, we can do a couple more, I think. Got 1. So if I'm doing 3 in each signature, so I think I would do, you know, alternate like this one, then that one, then that one. So I don't, you know, obviously I don't do every page like that because it would be a lot. But I try and do, if I'm going to do these, about, you know, 2 or 3 to a signature, depending upon how many signatures I have. And for some reason, I like odd numbers, so I usually end up doing like 3. So I'm going to get 3 more to go. Let's see if we can do them all within that period of time. I can cut 3 pieces like this. And I just picked this paper because it's kind of neutral. You know, you can't really see that much of it through there, but you want to think about what, you know, might show. And I just did this because it's kind of neutral. It was a scrap I already had, and it had a little bit of weight to it. It wasn't super thin. You could, you know, do this on your coffee dyed paper or whatever. I mean, you don't have to use something like this. It's just what I do. So, okay, I think we're going to mix this one up with a little bit of fabric. So let's just take a few pieces and maybe cut that like that. I'm going to use that. Let's see if I can pull out some pieces that are already cut. That. That. There's lots, isn't there? Maybe here, this piece. I got that piece. Okay, let's see if we got enough to work with here. And like I said, I'm just grabbing things that are on my desk and making them the size I think I'm going to want to use, and then I'll definitely come back and readjust or whatever. So let me see, this is more part of our other fabric. Put a couple of those in there. Okay, so let us go and start with that. Maybe probably a little big. Now, and you can make these as wide as you want to make them too. I, tend to try and make them a little bit smaller, but you know, I mean, you can make them as wide as you want to make them. I don't, you know, it's all, like I said, it's personal preference. So let's see. Maybe put that. I think what I'm going to do is do it this way and put that like that. I'm going to put a little bit right here. I don't really have a formula as to how I do this, and I'm doing this one a little bit differently just to kind of try out this system and see if I put the material down first, if that will make it go quicker. Might not, may not like how it looks. So let's see here. Let's put that there. See, I don't like how that looks underneath there, so I'm going to put that there. Yeah, there wasn't enough going on right there for me. I wanted more, so I'm going to turn this over. It's getting kind of sticky here. All right, so where did my piece go? Here we go. Let me see. Put that right there maybe. Or maybe this. I don't have much of that in there. And so anyway, this is kind of my process. I don't know. I don't think it's rocket science, but it's kind of funny sometimes though when you're doing stuff like this. It can end up being harder than you think, and it's because you think too much, and you really have to just kind of let yourself go and not think and not worry if it's going to work out or not, because, you know, if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world or anything, because it's just little tiny extra pieces of, you know, of material. So it's not like you've ruined anything. But you do have to kind of pay a little bit of attention, but for the most part, I think the less you try and do with this and think about it, the more likely it's going to turn out to the way you like it. Okay, so I have determined that I like having the material underneath the strip before I put the lace on. I think that's how I like it, so I'm going to do it that way. And I also think I like to really vary the colors of the lace. I think that's kind of I think that's something I like to do. Let's see here. I'm looking for more. I don't have that many pinks and beiges and stuff, so I put that right there. See, I've got too many things going the same way, so that'll bug me. Okay, let's see. I could put that here somewhere. And when I get done, when I go down the strip, then I go back and I look and I go, well, do I need to put something here? Can I put something over there? You know, just kind of no real rhyme or reason. Just, and I honestly can't tell you how I come to the conclusion that, you know, that I need to add a certain thing here or there. I think that's just your eye and what you develop, and also personal taste. But, you know, that's the kind of thing that, I don't know. Like, I mean, I love all junk journals, but I mean, you're going to develop your own style and what you like, and you'll be drawn to certain things. And, you know, that's how I am. I think that's how most people are. I do find myself, because I've done quite a few journals now, that I do like to change it up every now and then, because you get bored, you know, doing the same thing. I think I like Shabby the most. But if I do just Shabby, then I get burnt out on it. I don't, you know, I don't know. I just not not real big on just doing the same thing over and over. So, I mean, I like to have a little, I don't like that piece there. It's just not doing anything for me. So, put that there. Okay, I think I can live with that piece. Right? Now, these little strings and stuff, I cut off the really long ones and stuff. But for the most part, the little tiny ones, I don't mess with them. Because I like that. I like the texture of it. Okay, so then this one could go on another page. So we can just put that on one. You know, I mean, you just really kind of have to play with it and see what you like. Okay, sticking to my fingers. So there's another one. So we'll just do that. Let's see if we can get another one done. So you can see why I said you could just do it right here. I don't think I've ever tried it that way, but I could certainly see how that would work. It'd probably save you a step, but let's see here. Let's do a few other little brighter pieces on this one, I think. I'm just trying to change it up a little so that they all don't look the same. But let me see what other pieces I have. So, didn't mean to get quiet on you. I'm sitting here trying to do some thinking to try and make this a little bit different. I don't really know, I was going to say, what other processes are out there right offhand that I've seen recently. But I would go on other people's channels because I do know that I do mine differently than other people do. So, you know, if you go out and look at other ones, you may decide that you like how they do it better or whatever. But this is just kind of how I do it. So it works for me. And I have done it differently from time to time, but I don't really... you know, I think your process will evolve as you do things. You'll do things and go, well, it's easier to do it this way or in that order or this order or whatever. And, you know, that's fine. But I like to kind of vary things up a little bit and change things up a little. And what I find too is when I change how I do things, the look will change a little bit, and that's good. I just don't want each of my journals to look just like the last one I made, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I do change how I do things just for the fact alone that I want it to look different. I don't want it to look the same. I want it to look, you know, like it's unique, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I think that's what I really like about junk journals in general anyway, is the fact that they are so unique. They're not like anything else, and it's not like you're not going to see the same thing that you just made, you know, somewhere else is what I'm trying to say, I guess. Not being very efficient in what I'm trying to say here, but okay, so I lost my glue stick under here. Here it is, which is, it's getting low anyway, but so okay, let's just do that and vary the different pieces of material. I'm trying to go faster. I'm trying to do this to where it's like a, you know, not a lot of thought in the process, I think. Ugh, my hands are getting so sticky. Things are just kind of like, let's put that piece on. I could put it more like that. Well, I think it's getting too materially there. Anyway, so I hope that my newbies that are out there that haven't tried junk journaling yet have decided they're going to go for it and put some, you know, thought into making a journal. And, you know, the worst that's going to happen if you do it is it's just paper, and so just go for it. I see people on these Facebook groups all the time that seem to be a little intimidated, or I had one lady say something about when she goes out and looks at all the different journals that she's, you know, it kind of intimidates her. And I'm like, well, my first journal didn't look anything like the ones I just did. I mean, nothing like them. Nothing like them. In fact, a lot of those journals I took apart and, you know, took pieces out of them because, I mean, I didn't like how they, you know, I thought they were great when I first did them, but then after I did them for a while, I was like, wow, this is really bad, you know. I mean, this is not, I don't know. But, I mean, I didn't know it at the time. I was very proud of it, and I thought it was fantastic, and other people might think it was, but for me, it just wasn't my thing, so, but even then, I took all the pieces apart, and I think I made a pretty decent journal out of it, so, you know, you gotta realize there's a learning curve, especially when you're trying to, you know, learn how to sew in signatures. You know, it takes a little bit. Like I said, my first ones were, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they were really bad, I thought. And, you know, but I had to go through that in order to figure out how to do it and the best way to it. I'll tell you, all the Christmas journals that I did quite a few little golden books, and then I did, you know, the cloth covered journals, and that was a very good process for me because I did so many. My glue's running out. I did so many that I mean, I really, the sewing in the signature thing became just very easy for me. Was no big deal. And when the first few that I did, oh my gosh, I would sew things in backwards. I'd sew it crooked, have to take it apart. It was just unbelievable. Oh God, it took forever. But then after a while, I mean, I just got to the point where I could just, boom, put a journal together in no time at all. I mean, it really was not something that took me very long. I mean, I really had no issues after a while. So, you know, and it took a while to get to that. I wasn't like, you know, whipping them out at first. I mean, I remember my first few journals that I did. Gosh, I think I had to take them apart 2 or 3 times just to get them right, you know. I was like, oh, that's not right. I think, you know, or there's a couple times when I was, oh my God, my signature's perfect. I did everything perfect. And then I go look at it and I sewed it in upside down. So, you know, I mean, it was stuff like that. So you have to really cut yourself some slack and realize it's going to take a little bit to get to a point to where, you know, I'm not going to say it's easy. It's not easy, but to where you're comfortable enough to where, you know, it's not a huge issue. Because honestly, for me, I honestly didn't, you know, after the first few that I did, I went, oh my God, this is just way too hard. And then I almost quit. you know. And then after a while, I was like, wow, this isn't bad at all. I got it down now. So anyway, okay, so that's another one. And I'm going to take some of this and put this on there. I didn't do that on the other one. I may go back and do it. I like to take this apart because it's got two little, I think it already has some glue on there. It's kind of stuck together. I bet I used this someplace and took it off. So I'm going to take a little bit of this and maybe put it right here. Now when I use this stuff, I kind of curl it, you know, back and forth because you're going to have to make sure you get up. See, I just took it all off. You got to make sure you get it with your sewing machine. And that's kind of why I do a little small zigzag stitch, because it kind of incorporates. My hands are so sticky, everything's just sticking to it. But anyway, I'll put a couple little pieces here and there just to give it a pop of color. This particular journal to me is going to be kind of colorful anyway. You know, it's going to have quite a bit of color in it, so that's kind of the look I'm going for anyway. Okay, so then let's stick that on. Like I said, it's getting kind of crazy. I bet you guys can't even see anything anymore. But this is what I do. And when I do this stuff, I do them all at one time because, I mean, you're going to make this huge mess where you're taking everything out. So you might as well just do it all at once. And also, too, on one of my videos, we did clusters. And this is a good time if you want to. You've got all this stuff out, you can just make your clusters. You know, they're just a little bit bigger. Might as well, right? Okay, so, like I said, my hands are getting kind of sticky, so. Alright, so there's another one. So, let's see what we're doing on time. We're getting kind of tight on time. The only other thing I was going to say is what you may also want to do. Let me get this stuff out of here. I hope y'all could see some of that because it's got to be such a disaster. Okay. What you may want to do too, let me see if I find the one that's already sewn. Something that I like to do on these is I like to take buttons, and here I have a few buttons, and I will just take them, and I have this thing about making sure there's thread in my buttons. I don't know why. And I have a deal about odd numbers. So I have this little thread box. Oh, it's not big enough. Let me see if I can find another one. Not big enough. And you know, your leftover pieces of wax thread, I will take those and use them to thread my buttons because it's a little bit thicker. It's easy to thread, and also you can kind of see it better. But that's what I do when I cut off when I'm sewing in my signatures. I just keep a little thing. Now I do have a needle and thread, and I'll do some, but I have this thing about my buttons that I like having thread in them. Just kind of, I don't know. I mean, I know people put them down without it, but just for me, I like them to have thread in there. And then I'll just tie a little knot. Obviously, y'all would do this better than I would. My hands are so sticky, everything's sticking to it. But anyway, just cut that off. Okay, so I would take a few buttons and let's see, maybe put, and this is what I would use my fabric tack for, whatever, because, and I do this after I sew it, because obviously if you do this, you know, and then try and sew through the button, that won't be great for your machine. So let's say, first I'll put them around and kind of get an idea where I want it. Maybe put that there, put that there, put that there. This is very random, have no idea, you know, so let's just say, and then again, this is all personal preference. Try not to put too much glue on there. If that one looks too much like that one. I don't know, maybe I should put that up there. Go like that. Or maybe like that. Yeah, I think I like that better. Anyway, so I will take buttons and just put them, you know, on the page as a further embellishment. And, you know, I mean, you don't have to do that, obviously, but get the extra glue off. That's where I said don't put too much glue. And this 3-in-1 or Fabric Tech, it'll hold those buttons down pretty good. I mean, and also you could sew your buttons on there. I mean, just take a needle and thread and sew right through there. And you know, now that I'm thinking about it, that actually probably would have been a smarter way to do it. But anyway, you get the idea. That's kind of how it would look, something like that. So I mean, I think that's cute, and it's a great embellishment for your page. And you know, it doesn't take all that much, and you're using your scraps. So that's something that, I don't know, it's kind of what I like to do. And I think people, like I said, do it different ways. Also, I want to go real quick and let people know that I am having a giveaway on Valentine's Day. I did a flip through on this quick and easy Valentine's journal, and I will be giving this away to one of my subscribers on the 14th. So all you have to do to enter is to subscribe to my channel, and on the 14th I will just randomly draw someone's name that's a subscriber and announce it, and they will have won the journal. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me and crafting with me, and the amount of comments, I mean, they have all been positive, and they have all been so uplifting. And the response, you know, like I said, I'm in shock that people even watch. But I'm trying to make my process a little bit better, and I hope you're getting some value out of it. And I really enjoy doing it, and I think I will continue. But just please like and subscribe if you like it, so I know that whether I should keep doing it or not. So I hope everyone has a blessed, wonderful day, and thank you for watching.